Welcome to this installment of the Vision Advisors Success Academy. I'm John Terry, Chief Marketing Officer of Vision Advisors. I want to welcome you to this month's first Friday Success Academy. As we do every month at this time, we share some insights into helping you experience and achieve more success in your business. This month, I want to respond to a question I've received several times over the last 30 days from advisors struggling with closing, wondering why they're not getting people to move forward and have an opportunity to say yes to their offer. Well, here's what you need to understand. You're not alone if you're struggling with getting more clients to say yes. There is an art to closing the sale. I was reading some statistics the other day from the National Sales Executive Association, and interestingly enough, here's something unique I found. Over 80% of all sales professionals in every industry never ask for the order. They never move the sales process from a presentation to a close. Now, if 80% of sales professionals are missing that, but they believe they're closing, maybe there's something to the art of closing they're overlooking. That's what we want to spend some time talking about in this session of the Vision Success Academy. Now, I want to start with a definition of closing, and I want to go to a traditional source for that, and that's Websters Dictionary. Now, Webster's Dictionary defines a close two ways. Number one, to end discussion of, or number two, to cease negotiations about. Notice there the two uniquenesses of the definition. One of those is ending a discussion or a conversation, or the second area where we see a close defined is to cease negotiations about a specific topic. Now, for the purpose of our presentation today, I want to give you a definition that we want to look at as we have an opportunity to discuss the art of closing. This is the point in the sales presentation when the discussion ends and the client completes an application for insurance. This is what we traditionally see defined as the close. And I think back to over 30 years ago when I was training at Prudential and all of the different organizations I've had the privilege and opportunity to train in over the years. And this is what we hear taught over and over again by well-meaning sales professionals, that the close happens at the end of the presentation. Well, here's what I want to tell you about the traditional definition of closing. I want you to take the Webster's Dictionary definition of a close, and I want you to throw it in the trash can. I want you to forget everything I've just shared up to this point about ending a discussion or ceasing a negotiation, because closing is going to take on an entirely different dynamic when you see what we're going to share today. I want to help you redefine the commonly held belief of when to close. Now, many people think closing is some magic, unique thing that you do, but here's what I want to tell you. You don't have to be a David Copperfield or a Penn and Teller to be able to effectively close. There is no magic time to close, contrary to popular opinion. So regardless of what you've read or heard or seen or been trained upon up to this point, let me set the definition straight and let me clear any cobwebs that you may have. There is no such thing as a transition to a close. Now, why do I say that? You can't be taught to close. It just happens. Here's the reality that you need to understand when it comes to closing. True sales professionals don't move from the sales presentation to the close. Why is that? Here's what they understand. From the very beginning, these individuals are closing from the very start of their presentation. Now, I want to take a fresh look at the close over the next few minutes and give you an opportunity to understand what the close truly is. It is your sales process from start to finish. Every single thing that you do from the beginning conversation that you have in the warm-up to actually moving them to the point in the sale that you get them to say yes or no to your offer, every bit of that intricately weaved together, the entire presentation itself is the close. From the start to the finish, everything you say and everything you do needs to be structured in such a way that it moves the client down a process that is congruent with how they think, so that you can answer the questions they're asking in their head, the boxes they need to check, the yeses they need to give themselves along the way, so that when you get to the end of your sales discussion and you transition into the paperwork, that is a natural next step. So here's what you need to understand. Your presentation from beginning to end needs to focus on features, benefits, and advantages. And as you're presenting features, which are the nuts and bolts of your product, you need to make sure that you are linking them to a benefit, answering the question, what's in it for me? This should naturally move the client to make a decision in your favor, assuming that your solution is actually going to solve their problem. Understand this. The close in and of itself is the culmination of a strong, effective presentation. The close is not a plug on at the end. It is a part of the process from beginning to end. Now, when we think about closing and we think about the fact from the very minute you start a presentation, even if it's in that warm-up time that you're getting to know that individual for the first time, here's the question you're probably asking. John, if I'm selling from the minute I walk in the door and I start a conversation, how then do I close more effectively? Well, that's the question I want to take and answer over the next few minutes that we're together. Now, if you don't have a pen and a piece of paper, I might encourage you to grab one so you can make some notes and write this down. This recording will be available on demand for a limited period of time, and you can go back to that. But I want to encourage you to make some notes, because as you're hearing, as you're seeing, and as you're writing, you're engaging more parts of your brain that are going to allow you to remember this and begin to learn these processes and integrate them more fully into who you are. Now, when we think about the essential elements of the close, what are they? I want to take the word close and I want to turn it into an acrostic. And we're going to talk about 5 essential elements of closing that you need to build into your presentation from start to finish. The C represents the word concentrate. The L represents the word link or linkage. The O represents open. The S represents smooth. And the E represents expect. So as we think about the close, let's take a little bit deeper dive into each of these letters and talk about how they come together in totality to help you move the conversation forward. Now, when we talk about the C and we talk about concentrating, here's an important thing you need to understand. You need to learn to become an effective listener. You need to learn to become an effective question asker, because he who asks questions controls the conversation. And effective listening is going to be important, because as you're having a conversation with the client wants one question answered. Can you solve the problem that I am sharing with you that I want solved? Can you help me achieve a goal or an objective? Can you help me get from where I am to where I want to be? So your job in the C is to concentrate and remember the client's wants and needs throughout the sales process. We talked about this in earlier installments of the Vision Success Academy. Many of us as sales professionals fall into the bad habit of wanting to sell people the way we want to be sold. Or we fall in love with the pet benefit or feature of a product that we like, and we assume because everybody else is just like us in our thinking, they're going to like what we like. That is not the case. Remember this: clients buy for their own reason, not yours. And if you are selling based upon your reasons for buying and you're not speaking to the client's wants, needs, their goals, and objectives, you are setting yourself up for failure from the start of the presentation all the way through to the end. You've got to remember that clients buy for their own reasons, not yours. And they must understand that what you're presenting, solutions-based selling, how your solution is going to help meet their needs, solve their problems, or allow them to have a want or a desire fulfilled in their lives. Now, the letter L in the close is linkage. As you're having a presentation, you want to make sure that you link every feature of a product or service you're offering to the client's wants, needs, goals, and objectives. What we're talking about is linking the feature to a benefit or an advantage. Why do we want to do that? This creates a favorable sense of want in your client's mind. Now, again, let's go back to who we are as financial professionals. We spend a lot of time working with insurance carriers that drill us on the features of a product. This income rider is better than that income rider because of this reason. This accumulation strategy is better than that accumulation strategy because of this. S&P, Barclays, SocGen, you pick the indexes that are out there. There's a lot of features inside of a product, and financial professionals love features. But you forget that the client doesn't give a rat's hind end about your feature. They want to know how this feature solves a problem or helps them achieve a goal or objective or lets them achieve a want or a desire in their life. So if you're going to talk about an income rider as an example, you want to link that feature of an income rider to a benefit. If their want or need is guaranteed lifetime income, income that is going to be protected for the rest of their lives, and every month they're going to have a paycheck for the rest of their lives, whether they live to 95, 105, or 155, now you're linking that feature to a benefit so the client can see what's in it for me. Now, as you're linking benefits, if there's a unique advantage of the benefit offered by a particular product or service you're presenting over the competitors, that's where you can go one step even farther. Present a feature, present the benefit, and then present the unique advantage to the client so they take ownership of that from the get-go. And as they're taking ownership of that, you're getting the little yeses along the way that the brain is checking off. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I need. That helps me get to my goal. That helps me reach my objective. And as you're planting those seeds and you're starting to get those yes answers, that linkage, along with concentrating on their wants and needs and bringing those together, moves the sales process forward to the O. Now, the O is openness. And you want to make sure you keep the conversation open by asking open-ended questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no, because the goal of an open-ended question is to get the client talking about themselves, about their wants, their needs, their goals, their desires, their frustration with what hasn't worked in the past, their fears, their anxieties, their concerns, other issues that they're going to share as they open up emotionally to get them engaging in conversation. Because remember this, the initial buying decision is an emotional decision based upon whether or not they feel comfortable that the solution you're presenting is actually going to help them achieve a goal or objective or solve a problem that they're dealing with. The unique thing about open-ended questions is this: you get to stay in control of the presentation because he or she who's asking the questions is actually controlling the process. And as you engage in effective listening, after you ask the question, if you listen intently and you ask the appropriate follow-up questions, the client will tell you anything and everything you need to know so that you can present the features, benefits, and advantages in such a way that it moves the sales conversation forward. And the client continually in their thinking is saying, that's what I want. That's what I need. This solves my problem. This is the solution I need to purchase to feel comfortable and to make this stressor in my life go away. By also asking questions, one other important thing happens is you get the client to reveal in advance the vast majority of objections that they may have so that you can address those early on and not have to tackle those solely at the end of the conversation. Now, the S in the close is smooth. Now, what do I mean by smooth? The transition from your pitch, your sales presentation, to the actual paperwork itself needs to be smooth and seamless. It needs to be a natural progression of the sale and not a separate step. Here's something I want you to remember. A strong presentation is going to assume the client is going to buy, and the transition should reflect this. If you're engaging in solutions-based selling, you're first off identifying the one primary issue the client wants you to solve right now. And you're concentrating on their wants and needs as it relates to that one issue in their life right now. You are then, as you're leaning into linking features, benefits, and advantages. So it speaks to the fear, concerns, anxiety they have, and it brings peace. It brings the opportunity to see there is a way out. I can actually get to the finish line. As a result of that, through that open-ended conversation, they're going to say yes to the solution. This is what I want before the product is ever introduced. The product simply becomes the tool you use to solve the money problem that they've asked you to solve. And once they have said yes to, I want that guaranteed income solution that you talked about. I want to make sure that in the event I die early, my wife is going to be able to replace my pension dollars with a tax-free death benefit from this life insurance policy so that she will have more than just Social Security to live on when I'm no longer there. As you're doing that and they say yes to that solution, then the next logical step in the process, again, validating that emotional yes, is let me tell you how we do that. And you're then going to present the product or service that's actually going to solve the problem and generate the financial outcome that they're looking to achieve in their lives. And from that, the next natural step is the paperwork to get the process started. Now, the E in close is expectation. As you're sitting down with the client, you need to walk in the door expecting that your presentation is going to result in a sale. You need to be confident in the fact that you know that the solution that you are presenting is going to solve the client's problem. And you never want to make a sales presentation unless you yourself are confident that what you're going to present is actually going to be the solution that the client is looking for. Otherwise, that lack of confidence and that lack of belief in yourself is subconsciously going to come across in the presentation, and it will shut down your success opportunity early on in the process, because the client will pick up on those nonverbal cues that are an active part of communication, whether you realize it or not. And if you don't come across as confident, knowledgeable, and the trusted professional that is showing them how this solution solves their problem and creates the financial outcome they desire, and you don't believe it, if you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it either. So half of the sales process is believing in yourself and having confidence in your abilities. Now, when it comes to the close, let's really summarize what we've looked at and how you actually apply this in a real world setting. Number one, you need to remember where you are in the sales process. Whether you're at the stage that you're actually asking the questions in that first appointment to identify the problem they want you to solve, in that second follow-up presentation, how you are presenting the solution, and through solution-based selling, you're getting them to say yes to the solution so you can reach into the toolbox and pull out a tool, whether it's life insurance, annuities, long-term care, Medicare supplement, disability income, managed money, stocks and bonds, mutual funds, whatever it is that you offer. You need to know where you are in the process, and you need to know where the client wants you to take them based upon the responses and the answers they've given you in the questioning process. Remember, you've got to ask open-ended questions. And once you ask a question, listen intently and purposely to what the client is telling you. And it's okay to go back and ask follow-up questions for clarity or to gain insight or to identify a potential objection that may rear its ugly head later on so you can deal with that head on. And once you've gotten clarity in the problem they want you to solve, and you've gone deep enough to know this is truly the issue that is on their heart and on their mind right now, you then want to step into the process and in that second appointment, confidently show the client how the solution you have put together is going to help them solve that money problem. It's going to take care of a need. It's going to take care of a want because they either want it or they need it. And it has to speak to one or both of those, or they're not going to be able to put the pieces together to make the emotional decision to buy and then validate that logically on the back end. Remember, if you show your client how the solution you're presenting is going to help meet their needs or to give them a want or a desire that they are looking to achieve in their lives, the very next natural step for them is what's next. And if you've done a great job in the fact finding, identifying the problem, presenting the solution, not the product, but presenting the solution and the advantages and the benefits of the solution, then bringing the product in to show the features and how the features link to the benefits and advantages they've already bought, the next natural step in the client's mind is that's exactly what I want. What's next? And the end result of that is what? More sales, more satisfied customers, and more referrals. That is how you master the art of the close. And with that, I want to say thank you for joining me for this installment of the Vision Advisors Success Academy. We at Vision Advisors are here to do one thing, to help you get in front of more qualified prospects and have the opportunity to get in front of the type of customers that you prefer to work with that have wants and needs and desires that fall into the area of your expertise so that you can move them down a path, down a process to get them to say yes to your offer. Need help with that? That's what we're here for. Give us a call at Vision Advisors. 1-800-505-8489 is our number. John Terry with Vision Advisors. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.